Hi, honeys. It's Michelle. I'm here today to do a book unhaul. It's almost fall at this point, as of when I'm filming, and I thought maybe it'd be a good idea once each season to unhaul books. I mean, we all know how many books I buy, so why not go ahead and get rid of some of them as well. There are a few that I'll be taking down to my local used bookstore. They only take paperback books, so I will be bringing some of the paperback books down to them to trade in, to then trade in for other books. And then I will probably donate some of them, although I was playing around with the idea of maybe tossing some of them up on eBay as well. Why not get a little something back for the books, right? Especially with how much money I spend on books. So that's kind of what I've been thinking. Let me know what you think, though. I'd be interested to hear. This book I actually just read. It's called Intensity by Dean Koontz. It was really good. I don't see myself reading it again, though. And I do plan on eventually, when Brad and I get a house, we want to have a library, but this isn't really like a library quality book. It's not part of a series that I love or anything like that, so I don't really see a point in keeping it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to the used bookstore. This book is basically, I think it's better to go into it not knowing what it's about at all. It is really good. It is slow in parts, and it's a cat and mouse book between a serial killer and another person. Then there's this book. This is Amy Tan's Saving Fish from Drowning. And this one it's basically a book where a woman passes away and she was supposed to go on a trip with a bunch of her friends. So she ends up as a ghost traveling with them on this trip. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was really good. I felt like there was a lot of holes in it, and I definitely don't think I'll be reading it again. There's other books that she's written that I really love and that I want to keep, but this one it just fell flat for me. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This was one of those books that was really good. There was something missing in it for me, and once again, I just don't think I'll read it again, so there's no point in holding on to it. Basically what this is about is a woman wakes up one morning and finds that her husband has just disappeared, and she starts finding out all kinds of things she didn't know about him, and she has her stepdaughter, and she's trying to take care of her while he's gone, not knowing if he'll come back or not, or what's going on. It was a fun read, but I'm just not interested in reading it again. This book, Girl A by Abigail Dean, it was a very sad story about the effects of abuse. It was really hard to read. I know a lot of reading reviews on it. This was one of those books that I felt so mixed on what I thought of it. After I was done reading it, I read a bunch of reviews on it, and so many people DNF'd it or didn't like it or what have you. And I still don't know what I really thought of it. I question if maybe I should put off getting rid of it. Maybe I should read it again one day. I'm not sure. I see on my notes here that I don't think I want to read it again. Like, why put myself through this kind of depressive journey for no end game, though? It wasn't healing. It was just a disturbing look into how abuse affects a person's life afterwards, and how people can block out the past. how it affects people for the rest of their lives. So yeah, I think I'm going to part ways with this book because I don't really want to. I guess I'm just at this point where I'm tired of feeling weighed down by things with my past, and I just want to let them go. And it doesn't mean I want, I just want to let things go. I don't want to keep like thinking about how much things affected me. And, you know, sometimes it's just better to get certain people out of your life, which I definitely did a long time ago, but then move on. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. The next one is The Whisper Man by Alex North. This book is about a guy who loses his wife and decides to take his son and move to a new town, but the new town has a lot of memories and ghosts there for him. And I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I'm definitely not planning on rereading it. I think it was like a 3 or 4 star read maybe for me. So I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and part ways with it. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm probably going to get some hate for this one, but I thought it was okay. Like, there were parts that I liked, there was parts that I got into, but it was a 3 star read for me, which is a very average rating. Unfortunately, this was the first Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I read, and I hear that some of her other books were a lot better, so unfortunately it's kind of put a bad taste in my mouth where she's concerned. Just different things that I really didn't like about this book. I know I'm alone on that, and that's fine. That's one of the that's one of the beautiful things about being an individual, is that we're all different and we all react to things differently and feel different ways about different stories, books, movies, songs, whatever. But this one just wasn't for me. Jane Harper, The Survivors. From what I remember about this book, it's basically, there's a body that's found on a beach, and there's some, is it tied into something in the past? Let's see, a body is discovered on the beach. Long-held secrets threaten to emerge. A sunken wreck, a missing girl, and questions that have never washed away. There was a bunch of lies in here, and the truth coming out, that kind of thing. I just didn't love it. I liked it, I didn't love it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I read, what was it, The Dry? Is that what it's called? The Dry? Yeah, The Dry, which she also wrote, and I thought that one was so much better. Those are the only 2 books I've read of hers, though, this one and The Dry, so I'm not sure if she's an author for me or not. Death in 4 Courses by Lucy Burdette. This is this the first one? Sorry, let's see. This is the second book in the Key West Food Critic Mystery Series. And this one was about just the whole synopsis is kind of weird to me. So there's an annual Key West literary conference, and some of the real big names that were there cooking start coming up murdered, and I don't know, it was just kind of a weird book. I didn't really feel the way that I normally have felt about Lucy Burdette books in the past. I've got an arc years ago from this series. Let's see, which one was it? I don't even know where it is. But I had an arc from this series years ago that I got, and I just loved it. And I've been trying to read some of the other books in the series. Some of them I really like, and some of them not so much. This one was a not so much. I'm not trying to collect the whole series or anything, so I'm just going to pass it on to someone else to read. Oh, it was Killer Takeout. I see it over here. That was the one that I got as an arc that I thought was spectacular. And then I had picked up Valerie Wolzien. This book here, 'Tis the Season to Be Murdered, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. I found it on, I can't remember. I don't even think I spent $1 on it. I found it at a used bookstore on a clearance rack or something like that. And I just thought it was so good. And I decided to start searching out the other books in this series. Well, I've now read 2 other, hi Marty, I've read 2 other books of hers. I've read Remodeled to Death, which I thought was okay. I did not love it the way I did the other one. And then Murder at the PTA Luncheon, which I straight out didn't like and DNF'd. So I'm not really sure what to do at this point with this series. Do I keep getting her books? And so that, you know, yes, I love the first one, but the other 2 just haven't done anything for me. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my money either. So that's kind of a interesting question at this point, is what do I want to do with that? But okay, then we've got Heather, the Totality by Matthew Weiner. This was a really weird book. I don't even know how to say what it's about. It's like a disturbed man that is stalking a girl and she doesn't know it, but then you've also got the parents and they're trying to protect her. Because she doesn't know she's being stalked, but the dad starts noticing or something. It was a really weird book. I don't remember liking it a whole lot. I think, I gave it 2 stars. It was almost too dark. And the characters were super one-dimensional to the point where I could see, this was from one of the writers of Mad Men, and I could see why Mad Men was so good, but I think there's a huge difference in writing a character for screenplays as opposed to writing characters for a book. I don't think you have to worry about writing, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you have to worry about writing as much about what a character's thoughts are when you're doing a screenplay. The actor just kind of takes that over for the writer. But when you're talking about a book, I think it's very important to be careful about your characters and how you describe them and what they're thinking and who they are. So that's what I have to say about that one. This one, that's right. So I did a romance-a-thon, and there was some books that I really liked and other ones that I didn't. And I'm very funny about romance novels because I don't typically like them. They're probably one of my least favorite genres, if I'm honest with you. It'd be right up there with like, well, I don't even want to add Westerns in there because I've never read a Western. But it's just not, they're not that appealing to me. But this one, The Kiss Thief by L.J. Shen, it was about an arranged marriage and just some of the things that transpired. It was really weird because it's supposed to be about this really strong girl becoming a woman and going after the life that she wants, but then in turn letting somebody totally dominate her and control her. So it really fell flat, and I found it almost offensive at that point. Just the level of like, I surrender to you. What? This is 2021, right? It's not. So I really didn't care for it. And I don't know. It's like one of those things. I don't even know if I want anyone else to read it. Any girls, like I don't want that. I don't know. I hated it. I guess that's the nicest way to say it. So I'm not sure. I definitely don't. Yeah, I don't know what this one, what to do with it. I don't want to profit off of it in any way because I don't like it and I find it offensive and I don't. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do with a book like this? Let me know what you think because I really don't know. Then there is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I didn't like it. I did not finish it, so I did not give it a rating. But unfortunately, one of the things that people have mentioned about this series is that if you don't like steamy or saucy or sizzly scenes, it might be too much for you. And for me, it was too much. It was too in your face for me. The sex scenes and stuff. Like, I like steamy, but they have to be done a certain way. I'm super picky about this. I guess we all are, right? But for me, it was just very off-putting, the sex scenes in here, and I just couldn't keep reading it. It was just too much. And which made me really sad because I wanted to love this series. I did, but unfortunately, I did not love the series. Or that book, anyway. I haven't read the rest of the books in this series. Then we have Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is another one that I did not finish reading. I decided to just give myself a break and put it down. This is one of those books that felt like a punishment for me, trying to read it. And I read it. I also tried the audiobook version, and I know that a lot of fairy tales are different if you read the actual fairy tale as opposed to the Disney version. But unfortunately, the Disney version of this particular story is very near and dear to me. It's a big part of my childhood. I used to listen to the record in my room a lot. And I was kind of like one of those kids that was alone a lot, and I was in my room and I used to listen to this record all the time, and it was so important and meaningful to me that I guess I couldn't handle the differences now in the book. It was too much for me. I know. It sounds strange, but I'm very sensitive when it comes to books. And so I ended up not finishing it. Did I say that? I can't remember anymore. And then the last book that I'm going to be unhauling is The Rumor by Elin Hilderbrand. It was kind of like watching a soap opera, except I was reading it. It was entertaining. I read through it pretty quickly. There was parts I really liked and parts I didn't really like. I did not find any of the characters likable. Basically, what this book is about is there's a rumor that goes amok in Nantucket. But the truth is, I found all the characters to be kind of horrible. And so I wasn't really rooting for anybody. I didn't really like anybody. And so it was kind of hard to care what was going on. Like, I was kind of curious, but yeah. So that is my that's my stack of Unhaul books. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought, or if you plan on reading any of these books. And also, let me know if you have any thoughts about how I get rid of these, whether I sell them to the bookstore, trade them in for other books, sell them on eBay, or donate them. I would like to hear your input on that too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. I love you. Bye.